Right, holy crap. Dualshock 4 L3 Sprint issues. Um, didn't know whether or not to make this vid, but considering there's so much garbage out there on YouTube, I thought I'd run through this anyway. Um, if you're looking for a fix for your Dualshock with your L3 Sprint problem that does not involve you taking your controller apart, then you might as well spin on and go and watch a Chihuahua shagging a Great Dane or something. Mine started to give trouble. Couldn't kick sprint. I eventually ended up with PS4 thumb. So made the assumption that the analog unit was on the way out. So did no more, took it out of action and fitted a new analog unit. Put it all back together and lo and behold it was exactly the same. So we kind of need to have a look and see what the hell is going on here. Did I have a faulty batch of controller units? So I checked them, went through the batch, and no, they're all the same. And one thing I did notice that's quite interesting is that, as you may or may not realise, when you actually operate the press on the left hand controller, it presses down on the tactile switch below there. As it is there, you can hear it clicking, and as you move forward it continues to click until you get right over here, and suddenly, lo and behold, it won't operate. Now bear in mind that this is a brand new unit fitted in here, so there we go. Click. Difficult to control when it's like this, but still clicking away, still clicking away, still clicking away. We get right to the end of its travel and it just refuses. Now I suppose you can mess about with sticking wedges and things in there, but it certainly seems to me that the issue is something other than this controller, because if you look at a brand new one, it does exactly the same thing. So there we go, it's clicking away quite nicely all the way through as we're bringing it through, and then we get to the end of its travel and lo and behold it no longer operates the tactile switch at the bottom. We can do the same thing now. We look at the right hand stick, exactly the same thing. Now there's nothing wrong with this stick, but obviously that does not get the wear and tear that this one does. So again, we can go through the whole thing, moving it forward, and as we go forward, as we run out of travel at the end, it no longer makes it. There we go. It just will not operate that tactile switch. So what the hell is going on here? I was going to consign it to the corner of the workshop, but then I decided I really wanted to get to the bottom of what was going on. So what we're just going to do now is look and see what actually stops the travel. So what actually stops the travel is this here. So let's just have a quick look. This is from the Warn controller, and this is a brand new front. So what we'll do is we'll just open this up and we will check the gap in there. Right, so that's coming up front to back approximately 18.81 millimeters. Okay, so that's a fairly tight fit in there. Take that out. Now compare this to the Warn one. You can see the play that is in there. We'll wind this out, and now we've got 19.12. So could that be the reason? Let's try it on the other side. It just simply will not go in there. So this is obviously showing signs of wear. So is this what actually stops the L3 controller from going past its point of travel? So what we're going to do is, having replaced the analog unit and it being the same in this, we are now going to transfer everything into a new front and see if Sprint is resurrected. Okie doke, so here we go, all back together, nice new front on. I've fitted new thumbsticks, which I do recommend if you're going to replace the front of your unit. You put new thumbsticks on as well. I mean, you can do the whole job for about £6. I think this front was $4.99. I can't remember how much the thumbsticks were. But if we now go, so that is the answer to that. Purely and simply, obviously our left sticks get a lot of work, and so you suffer from wear and tear here. So the way to test it is, if this is your problem, is press your left stick right forward as far as it will go and give it a press and see if you can hear the click. If it doesn't, if you bring it back just a little bit, you should then hear the click, and that actually demonstrates that you're suffering from wear and tear on this here bevel round the corner, and possibly a little bit on the thumbsticks themselves as well. But obviously that does make all the difference. So I could have saved myself the effort of replacing the analog unit because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all, and looking at the new ones, they operate in exactly the same fashion. So when you go hard forward with the thing, you run out of travel and it will not operate that tactile switch at the bottom. And what stops that from traveling all the way forwards is this surround here. So there you go, give it a go. I mean, you can try pressing your L3 up and down 60 times and having a gin and tonic and spraying in alcohol and everything else, but if that is your issue, that is the only way to fix it. A little bit of time and effort. I'm not going to bother posting anything about how to take a controller apart because there are plenty of vids on doing that, and it really is a very simple, straightforward job to do. Just take the top off, take everything out, transfer it to the new front and put it back together carefully, and there you go. There is my L3 Sprint back again. Obviously this was a very well used controller, so it's had a lot of stick, if you'll excuse the pun, and a lot of wear and tear, and that small amount of wear and tear is enough to make this left controller travel further forwards than it should do. There we go. Hope this is of help.